Gary, a 0-0 draw at Whitehawk this afternoon in perhaps a disappointing performance. How would you summarise that one?
Game we should have won, Jack. I think we haven't got to the levels and standards that we know we can, but there's mitigating circumstances for that. I mean, you go out there and have a look at that, what they're playing on every other week. It's not an easy pitch to play on. It's got a terrible slope. I think it challenges both teams, and it is the same for both teams. But the fact that they play here every other week, I'm sure, does help them slightly. But that isn't the only excuse. I'm just saying that it does, affect performance. I don't think we passed the ball anywhere near as well as we could. I thought we was competitive and we had a physicality to our game, but in terms of composure and conviction and a decisive edge to our game in the final third, I thought it was lacking. I wasn't overly pleased with any of the front three in the first half, and I could have quite easily changed it at half time. I thought we lacked, as I just said, conviction, and I just felt that we were easy to play against. But once we go down to 10 men, I think the game becomes a little more stretched and a bit more difficult. But once again, we've defended brilliantly. I thought Tommy Davis and Tom Bender especially were outstanding. Donks hasn't had too much to do. And we've had the best chances in the game. I think the two chances or the three chances we've had in the second half and the two chances we've had in the first half, and no one could argue that they're not the best 4/5 chances in the game. But we'll respect the point like we always do. It should have been 3. The penalty miss, obviously Mo is distraught, but that's football. He's our penalty taker, and the fact he was on the pitch, I was confident he would score. It didn't happen this time, but listen, we, as I just said, respect the point and we move on to Tuesday.
You touched on it there, but as soon as we arrived this afternoon, we could tell the pitch wasn't in the best condition. Do you think that played a big part in our performance today?
Well, it changed our selection today. I think, Matty Johnson had trained on Thursday. He's had a tight calf for 10 days, and it was something we've been managing. But once we see the pitch, and we just felt it was too much of a risk for our captain. He's been, immense for us this year, and I just felt it wasn't conditions that were conducive to a player coming back with a calf injury. So we we made a decision and we took it upon ourselves to make that change. We could have quite easily brought Mo back in, but we felt, pace and trickery and power in that final third would cause them more problems on the back of watching them a couple of weeks ago. But it was, I think, 3 changes to their back line to what I observed two weeks ago. So there was plenty of changes on their part, but credit to them. They've competed and they've limited us to little, but they've limited us to enough to win the game. If you look at chances, as I've just said, if we're a little more clinical and efficient, like I've been saying most of the season, we'd have won the game today.
Montel McKenzie's red card didn't seem to halt our progress in going for the opener, but what did you think of that decision?
I thought it was the right one. I've just watched it back. I thought it was a loose, lazy challenge. I just said to Mont in there, he's been excellent since he come in the building, but I thought he was too casual, too loose, and the challenge really epitomised his performance, and I just shared that with him. I thought that decision was correct. I just did go into the officials to question a few other bits. I thought Mo had a stonewall penalty after our first penalty, and I thought it was more a penalty than Frank's. You would argue Frank's was maybe just outside the box when it started. So we got fortunate there, but we definitely got unfortunate with Mo's one, because I think if he hasn't given the first, he's definitely given the second, because the second's more a penalty than the first. But sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't.